Yes, you lot, welcome back to the Louis Talks Footy channel. Today I'm back with another video and we're going to be talking all things Manchester City manager. Before I get into the video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. It massively helps the channel out. So first things first, in the last 24 hours or so, we got a bombshell from Fabrizio Romano saying that Manchester City see Enzo Maresca as the only potential candidate for the Manchester City managerial job if Pep is to leave and when Pep is going to leave. Obviously, whether Pep Guardiola is going to leave Manchester City in the summer is uncertain at this moment in time, but there's been growing belief throughout the season that this will be his final year. He still does have 1 year left on his contract that runs out at the end of the 2026-27 season, and fun fact for you, Pep Guardiola has actually never left a contract early. He's always seen his contract out to the very end. So if he was to leave this summer, it would be the first time he's done that. Also, this is his 10th year, going on 11th as Manchester City manager, obviously the longest by far that he's ever stayed at a club. So it's very clear that he loves this club and he's loved his time at Manchester City. But is this just a little bit too long for him now? Is he looking for a new challenge? I think 10 years is a good kind of number to round it off on. Now, obviously, I would never ever want to see Pep Guardiola leave Manchester City. He has been the guy that literally took us from a good club to a great club. He's given Manchester City fans success that we couldn't have imagined in our wildest dreams. Trebles, Centurions, the formidable season, 4-peat. There's so many reasons why we love this man, and it's so obvious to see that this is, for me, the greatest manager of all time, and for others, arguably the greatest manager of all time. Why would anybody want to let that guy go? They wouldn't, obviously, and that's why Manchester City fans are so keen on keeping hold of this guy. But nothing lasts forever, and it has to come to an end. And this summer might be the end for Pep Guardiola. But I'm not gonna lie, lads. Enzo Maresca, it's not the guy that I want. Isn't the guy that I want, and I know nobody is ever going to reach Pep Guardiola level. We're never going to have somebody again like Pep Guardiola who has achieved the things that Pep Guardiola has achieved. We're never going to see that again at Manchester City. But Enzo Maresca for me just does feel flat. I'm going to go through the reasons why I think Enzo Maresca is a little bit of a flat managerial appointment, and I'm also going to counteract that and try and maybe look for the positives in this potential appointment, because I feel like maybe I'm underestimating him a little bit. Maybe I'm giving him too much of a hard time. But for me, the first thing is his CV. I don't really look at Enzo Maresca and think, yeah, this is going to be the guy that's going to take over the managerial job at Manchester City and somewhat maintain the domestic success that we've had in recent years, or any kind of European success. Like I say, I know nobody's going to be Pep Guardiola, and what he achieved in his 10 years at Manchester City has been nothing short of absolutely freakish. But I don't see Enzo Maresca competing for Premier League titles, getting to European finals. I just don't see that. Listen, he did very well at Leicester. He won the championship, and for me, that's the biggest achievement of all the things that he has done. Winning the championship is a very tough thing to do, and that shows that he can compete in a very competitive league. And when you go down into the championship like Leicester did, it's so difficult to get back up to the Premier League. We see it all the time. A team goes down and they just regress. Even Leicester City right now, they're literally going down to Division 1. But Enzo Maresca brought Leicester back up to the Premier League. He then got the Chelsea job. And to be fair to him, he won the Club World Cup. Whichever way you want to spin it, it's a big achievement. He beat PSG in the final as well, one of the greatest teams we've seen in the last 10 years. I don't even know. Very, very good side, and Enzo Maresca beat them. He also won the Conference League with Chelsea. For me, with the squad that Chelsea have, they should just blitz that anyway. So, I don't know. It's not a major achievement in my eyes. And I think he also did get Champions League football with Chelsea. So he's had experience at a big club and he's done alright. And maybe this is me being a young fan and having unrealistic expectations of what a Manchester City manager should look like, considering all the glory I've seen throughout my life as a Manchester City fan. But there's just other managers that I personally would like to see over Enzo Maresca. The first one, which is the most obvious one to me, and I think a lot of people in world football would want this guy as their manager, is Luis Enrique. Now, this is a little bit unrealistic considering what he's achieved with PSG, the way he's turned them around. The ownership are never going to want to let this guy go. He's literally turned them in, for me, the best team we've seen since Barca in early 2010s. And that is a huge statement to make. The squad he's built has been immense. They've literally got best player in the world quality in every single position. And even when you look at the bench, it is just ridiculous, the strength and depth they've got. So to have someone like Luis Enrique come into Manchester City and do what he's done at PSG, if possible, would be absolutely amazing. That would be the dream. And I'd love to see that kind of football at Manchester City. So Luis Enrique would be my number one choice. The second guy I'd have over Enzo Maresca is Vincent Kompany. I have had my doubts about this guy. Earlier on in the season, I was saying that I wouldn't want him to take over from Pep Guardiola in the summer purely because he's a very young manager, he's not had loads of experience, and to bring him in as Vincent Kompany, as the legend he is at Manchester City, for me would be too much of a risk. You don't want to bring somebody in a little bit premature, ruin their legacy at Manchester City, having to fire one of our club legends. But since then, we've seen the kind of football Bayern Munich have been playing, the squad he's built as well, the quality that he's harnessed out of some of the players like Luis Diaz, who wasn't setting the world alight at Liverpool, but has gone over to Bayern Munich and turned his game around. Michael Elise, obviously amazing at Crystal Palace, but he's gone to Bayern Munich and taken it to a whole new level. He's now best in the world level player. I think Vincent Kompany has shown that he can get the best out of his players. He's gone toe to toe with the best team in the world in PSG and gave them a flipping good game, going far in the Champions League to the semi-finals. I think Vincent Kompany has proven to me that he probably would be competent to take over the Manchester City job, especially over someone like Enzo Maresca for me. The third guy who I would have over Enzo Maresca is Cesc Fabregas, and this kind of goes against what I was saying in terms of lack of experience, lack of CV, but I've really seen something special in Cesc Fabregas since he's gone to Como. He went and took over Como when they were in Serie B, the second division in Italy, and he took them up straight away to Serie A. Since then, he cemented them as a first division side in Italy, and he's competing for European places over there. I mean, that is pretty mad looking at what he's done. And you could say, oh, but is he going to be able to translate that to a bigger club? And that's a fair point, but for me personally, I would back him to do that considering how he played his own football. He played for some of the biggest teams in the world, and he would have had a lot of pressure on his back in every single one of those clubs that he went to. So seeing what he did as a player, as one of the greatest midfielders in the world, you would have thought he'd be able to translate that into management. Maybe I'm completely overestimating, what a manager's job does and how much pressure there is on a manager. But I just would back him to translate that to a bigger club. So I don't know. I think he's a really exciting prospect, and I would like to see him at Manchester City. But listen, Enzo Maresca is very closely linked to Manchester City. He's been on the coaching staff before. He was on the coaching staff when we won the treble. So he knows the club well. He already knows a lot of the players. So maybe that's why he is the first option for the club, because they already know him and they're already comfortable with him. He's already comfortable at the club. Maybe there's going to be less of a settling in period for that reason. I do have to give Enzo Maresca credit for how he left Chelsea as well. He didn't like the way the club was being run. He didn't like the way that the board were trying to tell him what to do. And for that reason, he left. So it shows that he's a strong character and he can stand up to people. So hopefully he'll be able to command the respect of the dressing room. But yeah, to be honest, lads, I don't really know about this one. I'm a little bit unsure. Let me know what you lot think about this potential appointment. Like I say, for me, it feels a little bit flat. I just don't feel that excitement that I would feel with a Cesc Fabregas coming in, a Vincent Kompany or a Luis Enrique. But maybe that's just me underestimating Enzo Maresca and underrating his time at Chelsea and Leicester. But yeah, listen, make sure you lot like, comment, share and subscribe. I really want to hear your thoughts on this potential appointment. Stay tuned on the channel as well. There's going to be more videos coming out this week, especially the Wembley vlog going to the FA Cup final. Going to do a match day vlog for that one, so look out for that. But until then, I'll see you lot in a bit.